There's been a delay in jury selection in the trial of Sean Diddy Combs. The judge postponing the last phase of the process until Monday.
Actually just leaving the federal courthouse. Lots happened today. The big thing is there is still no jury.
He sent somebody through somebody else to try to get in contact with me, telling me enough is enough.
Witnesses are absent and jurors are withdrawing as Diddy's trial was recently postponed. Diddy is allegedly pursuing witnesses and preparing to sue his former bodyguard for speaking out against him. Cassie is scheduled to testify against Diddy this week, and indications are emerging that she may require witness protection. Where is witness number 3, and why are jurors afraid to speak out against Diddy? Let us break it down.
Selection of a jury in the Sean Diddy Combs case almost complete. Prosecutors are preparing for opening arguments on Monday, but they admit there's a snag. One of their key witnesses against the rapper appears to have gone missing. This comes as we learn that Combs' ex-girlfriend, who was seen on video being assaulted by the rapper, is pregnant.
Is a crucial witness in the Sean Diddy Combs trial backing out? Victim number 3, as she's nicknamed, was due to testify against the music mogul.
The name of victim number 3 was going to be revealed when she took the stand, but the woman has apparently gone missing, and prosecutors say they've been unable to reach her.
People just get nervous, and this person could just be nervous and just has had second thoughts.
If the prosecutor can't find this witness, how might it affect the case?
Look, I don't think it's going to have a tremendous effect. The prosecution is going to call a number of alleged victims. So look, this is just one less.
Someone else is also getting cold feet. A juror sent an email to the judge asking to be removed from the panel for issues of personal well-being.
Prosecutors have just disclosed that victim 3 is missing, with reports linking Diddy to their alleged disappearance. Ex-Bodyguard Diddy frequently targets critics. And don't forget that Diddy was continuously attempting to reach and intimidate witnesses from within the prison.
Well, I mean, on the surface, if the prosecutor's claims are true, this seems like pretty much textbook witness tampering, right? I mean, it appears to be an effort to either, in some cases, intimidate witnesses from testifying against him, or there have been other reports of sort of inducing people to make statements in his defense. There was some allegation that in one instance this was a statement that he, in essence, dictated or drafted with a woman who made a statement that was attempting to rebut one of the accusers, I believe, in a civil case against him. I mean, witness tampering is bad. The things that Sean Combs is accused of are terrible. He pleads his innocence. The justice system will presumably work its way through.
Call records from the Metropolitan Detention Center, where Diddy is being housed, suggest that he attempted to bribe off witnesses. And in one case, called a victim 200 times in an attempt to threaten and bribe them off. Diddy would phone his family members and ask them to include a victim or a witness in the call. This way, it can't be determined who Diddy was speaking with. Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, also received a message from Diddy, urging him to quit talking about him, and that enough is enough.
It is likely that there is some underlying truth to at least some of the allegations. There might be a lot of underlying truth to a lot of the allegations. There's probably some bandwagoning going on. We spoke to an attorney who's for one of the alleged victims of Diddy a few weeks ago. I believe Amber Nomiki and I did, and they said they had calls, they had information, they had people, hundreds of them, come forward. They're not going to represent all of them. They're, which ones have evidence that can be compelling. What are the best cases to bring that? I also saw a story in the New York Post. This is from a week ago, about Diddy stuff that I wanted to read the headline of.
And you write about Diddy's phone being tapped because news came out that his former bandmate from Dirty Money, she called the other group member Dunn 58 times trying to get her to stop the lawsuit against Diddy.
She ain't the only one he was trying to get in contact with. You understand? He sent somebody through somebody else to try to get in contact with me, telling me enough is enough. Oh, okay. You tell Big Mama that enough is enough. You can't tell Wolf Mama enough is enough. You tell D. Ferg Mama enough is enough. You understand? You tell all those people who supported you and they survivors, enough is enough.
You didn't tell me about that. So he tried to get somebody to reach out to you?
No, I got a phone call from Kirk Burroughs. And Kirk Burrows, and I ain't gonna even get this guy no play. Not Kirk Burrows, but one of the Puff dudes that I know that's real close to him said, Kirk told me, yo, he wanna reach out to you, Gene. He wanna speak to you. I said, speak to me for what? What do you want to speak to me for? If he's trying to speak to me, it's for Puff. Point blank. I know the dude. I know how close he is to Puff. He's been with Puff from day one. So he ain't got nothing to say to me, bro. But Kirk Burrows did say to me that the dude said enough is enough. When do it becomes enough?
This is relayed to me by Kirk Burrows. This guy is like this with Diddy. You seen him on Drink Champs with him. You see him walking the streets in Miami with him, the whole 9 yards. So I'm saying to him, what does he want to talk to me for? He ain't got nothing to say to me. He said, yo, Gene, he said enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? Enough is enough to what? And I told Kirk Burrows, I said, yo, if he I said, he don't want to talk to me for himself. He wants to talk to me for Diddy. And I ain't got nothing to say to him. He ain't said enough is enough to Wolf's mother when he cursed out and told her all kinds of shit. Did he say enough to Big's mother? What do you mean enough is enough? And that's how that conversation went.
How did you feel about it after you were done?
I felt that, like, because they must have got at Kirk Burrows, because Kirk called me with the bullshit. Yo, you got to fix that. You know this. Man, God, excuse me. Listen here, bro. I don't care nothing about none of these industry cats and what they do and how they do it. That's their business. You understand? I don't tell a man how to screw his wife and how to spend his money. You don't tell me what I gotta do with my time. Point blank.
Do you feel like at some point Diddy could try to come after you or do something, you know, being that he's went after a lot of people, you know, he's did a lot of stuff, as you know about.
Cam, let me tell you something, man.
Woman claims she saw minors dressed as Harajuku Barbies at Sean Diddy Combs' FreakOFF parties, what he was describing there to Conan so many years ago. Said these were sex-fueled parties with what she initially thought were little people dressed as Japanese Barbies. And she said, this is her talking to TMZ, are those midgets? And she actually thinks they were kids dressed up in sexy.
Oh, gross.
So again, that's just from someone who provided this information to TMZ for a documentary, but pretty disgusting.
It is. No, that's.
John Deal witnessed Diddy's abusive behavior firsthand, and it wasn't until Diddy tried to drug his girlfriend that Gene realized he had gone too far. John tried to stop Diddy, but he didn't care.
As I seen it, I knew that they were spiking drinks. My girl was at the New Year's party. Right? I'm at the front door. I gotta make sure everybody got their passes and everything like that. So then, my girl and her girlfriend is in the party. So they get bottles of champagne. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking for them. After everybody comes, they close the door. So I'm going knocking in doors, looking at people. I'm looking for my kid's mother now. What the fuck, what's going on? And I'm getting hysterical. So I decided to go to the car, and I looked in the car, she was in the car asleep. She said, Gene, we started drinking the champagne, and I didn't feel good. And me and Debbie came here and went to sleep. And my whole thing about it is that Puff wasn't right what he did to people around us, man. He wasn't right what he did to people around us. Him being hard-headed, not listening, and not telling the truth and constantly lying cost a lot of people their lives, man. It cost a lot of people their lives. I want him to understand when I told him, if we don't do something to these doors, people gonna die tonight. And forget, and I wanna say F what other people say, everybody know I told him that. Our whole crew know I told him that. From Slick to Nord, Bunny, Big Boy, Eddie, all the people that was with us that night. Know I told him that. 9 people end up dead.
Gene Deal stands out as the lone insider from Diddy's inner circle, who refused to sign an NDA. And that's exactly why he's the one spilling the tea no one else dares to touch. Behind the glamour and glam of Diddy's empire, his fabled FreakOFF parties were sealed behind ironclad, non-disclosure agreements. Everyone involved was silenced, Except Gene. He never agreed to be quiet, and now he's peeling back the veil on what truly went on. It gets darker. Female staff members working under Diddy and Bad Boy Entertainment weren't just assistants or professionals. According to Gene, some were being used and handed around to influential CEOs in the industry, like currency in a perverse behind-the-scenes game.
And I know you didn't sign it. I know you didn't sign an NDA, clearly. But did he make his artists sign NDAs and people that work for him?
Well, a lot of these rappers, a lot of these industry people, anybody who does business nowadays with the internet, they have NDAs, non-disclosure. That means that if you work for them, you around them, you can't disclose any of the information about them. It's the same thing that he gave to all his artists when he gave them their publishing back. I'm gonna give y'all publishing, but y'all can't talk about Janice Cohn, Justin Cohn, Sony, Bad Boy, or anything that happened. Y'all can't talk about none of that. But there's some artists that didn't say anything, that didn't sign it, and they're able to talk about anything they want to.
Now Diddy's starting to panic. He realizes prison time might be imminent. With jury selection practically finalized, reality is seeping in, and instead of staying silent, Diddy's allegedly striking out in despair. But here's where it gets more messier. He's not the only prominent celebrity entangled in this web. If Diddy falls, he could take down some even bigger power players with him. Shockingly, jurors were presented a roster crammed with A-level celebrities, names that haven't even been publicly tied to the lawsuit yet. That alone begs a significant question. What bombshells are the prosecutors holding up for later?
Here's why Michael B. Jordan, Kanye West, and more celebrities were named at Sean Diddy Combs' trial. As jury selection in the mogul's criminal trial began on May 5th in New York, NBC News says prospective jurors were provided a list of more than 100 names of individuals and places that may be cited throughout the trial, including actors Michael B. Jordan, Mike Myers, and rapper Kanye West. While the aforementioned celebrities are not accused in the case, the potential jurors were asked whether they knew any of the names named and whether it would damage their capacity to be impartial per the site. Attorneys did not give a reason for the list. The identities of women who have taken legal action against Combs were listed on the list, including his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, whose November 2023 sexual abuse complaint against the rapper was resolved one day after it was filed. Dandity Kane Alum, Don Richard, who accused Combs of sexual in a complaint filed in September, was also mentioned. Combs has denied any misconduct in both trials.
Candidates are being asked about their own connections to or impressions of an array of celebrities, and with no explanation why, at least not yet. The parlor games have begun, my friends. Everybody is trying to connect the dots between the shiny, famous names and the beleaguered rap star Diddy and the charges. Just today, the name Robert Downey Jr. came up in court. When a prospective juror said that he knew a Robert Downey in high school, it was kind of funny. But Robert Downey, the actor, and Diddy apparently do know each other and have been seen together in public. But Robert Downey Jr. reportedly never attended Diddy's parties. So if he does figure into this trial somehow, it's going to be a lot of news to a lot of us. Mike Myers, another favorite Canadian, favorite actor, favorite comedian. He is on the jury question list as well. And that too is a tongue-wagging mystery.
Some of Diddy's longtime associates are finding themselves caught in the crossfire. While a few are being openly name-dropped, others are quietly retreating from public view, fully aware of the storm that's coming. Word on the street is that Diddy's been offered a plea deal, and in exchange for leniency, he's expected to expose the very people he once called allies. Naturally, that's got a lot of powerful figures shaking. One of the most shocking moves came from none other than Bishop T.D. Jakes, who suddenly stepped down from his role as lead pastor at the Potter's House megachurch. And this just happened days after news broke that Diddy may be cooperating with authorities, potentially spilling secrets that could bring down more than just the music empire.
Big breaking news tonight. For the first time in the history of New York City, a sitting mayor has been indicted for crimes. ABC News reporting that Mayor Eric Adams has been indicted by a federal grand jury. We do not know yet the exact charges. Federal authorities have been investigating Adams and members of his staff, issuing subpoenas for documents and cell phones. Several members of administration have resigned, some of them also friends of Mayor Adams. Again, Eric Adams, the 110th mayor of New York, has been indicted by a federal grand jury. We'll have the latest online and tonight on Eyewitness News at 11.
This was a shock to many in the religious community. Bishop T.D. Jakes has been a spiritual advisor to presidents and a religious voice to thousands. Now he says it's time to pass the baton to a new generation.
With threats lurking over key witnesses, jury selection has come to a screeching halt, causing the court to delay Diddy's trial once again. It's becoming dangerously clear. Unless these witnesses are placed under rigorous federal protection, there's a genuine possibility that Diddy's formidable connections may reach them before they ever take the stand.
Just leaving the federal courthouse, lots happened today. The big thing is there is still no jury. They're so concerned about jurors backing out over the weekend once they find out that they're actually on the jury, that they're going to bring 43 of them back on Monday morning. They're going to strike them and then go right into opening statements. Part of that is because they received an email overnight that one juror backed out. She was like, this is just too much. I can't do it. Too much pressure. They had to strike another juror who did not give accurate information. He's engaged in a lawsuit with the city of New York and forgot to mention that. I have been in court every day this week. I've been in court every day since this whole case started, and I will be here every day in the courtroom all next week.
A delay in jury selection in the trial of Sean Diddy Combs. The judge postponing the last phase of the process until Monday. Here's ABC's chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katursky.
This morning, Sean Combs is set to stand trial on sex offenses accusations that may put him to prison for decades. The 12 individuals who will determine whether he's guilty are set to be seated first thing Monday after lawyers make cuts from a pool of more than 40 prospective jurors. The judge first wanted to do it on Friday, but changed his mind out of worry that jurors, if they had the weekend to think about it, would have cold feet. Once the jury is sworn, attorneys will offer opening comments and the first witnesses will testify. Among them, Combs' ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, one of the women federal authorities allege was compelled into drugged-up sex marathons known as FreakOFFs.
Explosive leaked phone calls from the MDC have disclosed a sinister twist. Diddy was allegedly trying to buy his way out of problems by paying off his accusers to keep them silent. But he's not the only one. Jay-Z's name also surfaced in a rape lawsuit related to Diddy. And guess what? The same strategies were used. The claimed victim was secretly offered a measly $10,000 to drop the lawsuit and disappear. And tragically, she accepted. And it becomes even more suspicious. Why are victims, and even jurors, suddenly vanishing or pulling out just days before the trial? It's hard not to assume intimidation or threats were involved. Something here just doesn't add up.
Prosecutors filed papers overnight stating a jail sweep discovered evidence. Combs allegedly paid off an anonymous witness who had posted a statement to Instagram in what prosecutors believe was an effort to try and taint the potential jury pool. The complaint also accuses Combs of utilizing phone accounts for at least 8 other inmates. Combs' legal team continues to seek the judge to give him a bail option, but prosecutors are again saying bail should be denied.
$75 million at his disposal. Isn't that by nature the exact thing that they're worried about? If you have this much money, that you could make this thing, you could probably make people disappear if you really opted to.
See, this is the thing. That'll just make more trouble. Why would he make more trouble now? He done already bought off and paid off everybody he possibly could. Have you looked at the indictment? Like, he called some witnesses up to 54 times.
Yeah, 200 and how many Angel? 200 something people he tried to reach out to.
Like, what are you running, a telethon or a telemarketing agency? Telemarketers don't make that many calls in one day. Or sometimes not even in a week, all depending on you was on that. You down for Diddy?
What happens with exposures? You make yourself vulnerable to all kinds of attacks, seen and unseen. What happened to my friend? When he passed away, there was $250,000 on my head and $150,000 on his. But what if I had decided to go back with my head held low and said, Sean, I'm willing to play the game. And then found a way to get inside of him and move him around.
In a startling twist, Diddy's current legal approach is turning heads. He's now seeking to shift the blame on his claimed victims. His legal team has come forth with a daring and controversial claim that Cassie was actually the aggressor in their relationship, and Diddy was only acting in self-defense. But this story immediately falls apart the moment you see the terrible film of Diddy attacking Cassie, proof that's impossible to dispute with. Let's be real, Diddy isn't looking like a man wanting to clear his name. He's looking more and more like someone dangerous, someone with a violent past catching up to him.
As legal battles continue to mount for music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, his attorneys have pushed back against abuse allegations made by singer Cassie Ventura by claiming she too engaged in violent behavior during their relationship. In newly surfaced legal responses, Diddy's team argues that the narrative of him being the sole aggressor is one-sided, and they intend to present evidence suggesting mutual volatility. The claims come amid growing scrutiny over Diddy's past conduct, including federal investigations and multiple lawsuits.
Hey, now let's get into what's going on with this Diddy trial, because there are some new things coming out as they're in the courtroom. And one thing that Diddy's defense team is leaning in on is saying that, yes, Diddy was abusive toward his ex Cassie, but they're also saying that she was no angel and allegedly got violent with him as well. It's day 4 of the Diddy trial, and the prosecutor and Diddy's attorney had a very interesting exchange with the judge. It kicked off with Johnson telling the judge that the victim one, who they believe is Cassie, will not be cross-examined about certain medical issues. But that's when Diddy's attorney said the defense is going to take the position there was a mutual violence in their relationship, hitting on both sides, DV, domestic violence. He said, we are absolutely going to admit to domestic violence, but at what point does it become coercive? And that's when the judge clarified, saying, you're arguing that they are just violent. And he said, right, we are saying that it's relevant. They also said they're submitting a letter to the court on the topic, and they're going to offer 2 cell phone videos and the corrected CNN footage of that infamous tape where you saw Diddy beating Cassie up at the Intercontinental Hotel in LA. If you recall, Diddy's team have been saying that tape was doctored, there was more to it. And so I guess they have the full video they are claiming that they're planning to bring up in court. So we'll see what happens.
Before everything truly blew out, Diddy actually tried to evade accountability by putting it all on drugs. He claimed that his acts weren't fully his own, that his judgment was affected by narcotics. According to his legal team, he was so under the influence of narcotics and alcohol that he didn't even recognize what he was doing was criminal. In their view, that meant he shouldn't be held accountable for any of it.